Hi, what's happening, y'all, man? I've seen a few of y'all comments on my last video. I've been trying to work with the settings as far as the camera. Saw some people like the last background, some people didn't like the last background. I'm gonna keep rotating, see which ones y'all like the most. And of course, I've also been playing with the mic settings. It's a lot of new equipment. These are really my test runs. It just happens to be that I'm simultaneously reporting on everything going down in training camp right now. And this is another Rico report. This is not a training camp review. I'm coming out with a review for the entire first week of training camp that went down in Richmond. You know, we're going to Ashburn for the rest of it, and we're about to be full go, all pads, all contact, everything like that from now on. So I'm excited about that. But today is just a Rico report on some more chaos going on. We have more COVID-19 cases, including all-pro guard Brandon Scherff, who's on a franchise tag. Also, are we slowly becoming the Washington Dolphins, just like we used to be the Washington Panthers, just like how at one point in time we were almost the Washington Crimson Tide? I mean, we still kind of are both of those, kind of the Washington Buckeyes a little bit too, but now we're slowly starting to become the Washington Dolphins as well. Also, the full details on Jonathan Allen's contract situation have been released, so I'm gonna break that down for y'all as well. And then lastly, I want to talk about, is Landon Collins back to his all-pro form? He's been doing some things in training camp that looks a little reminiscent of when he was an all-pro in the NFL. We're going to talk about that. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Also, you make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. Also, make sure you go check out my Jamin Davis rookie film session. I'm working on film sessions for the entire rookie class, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, man, let's get it. All right, so first of all, again, like I keep saying, I don't even like talking about this COVID-19 vaccination situation that our team has going on. But when facts come out, I have to report it. I'm not here to give any opinions. I'm just here to give y'all exactly what's going on, who's on the COVID-19 list, who can play, who can participate in practices, who won't, and some of the comments that are coming from the team, especially like Ron Rivera. Well, first of all, Brandon Scherff and David Sharp were both added to the COVID-19 reserve list today. David Sharp is just a rotational backup tackle guy, so that's not that important. It's not like we're really missing a step with that, but Brandon Scherff being on it is critical. Now, granted, it's the beginning of training camp, so the silver lining in it is that other guys like Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles, Ereck Flowers will now get more playing time, more practice reps to develop themselves and get better and better, because we already know how good Brandon Scherff is going to be. He doesn't need these practice reps as much as they do, but at the same time, if this situation carries on into the regular season, Brandon Scherff will not be playing. So now we have Brandon Scherff, Matt Ioannidis, Cornelius Lucas, David Sharp, Curtis Samuel, and Chris Miller, all on the COVID-19 reserve list, which is scary. That's 6 players in only 4 days of practice. We have more players on the COVID-19 list than we have days of practice. If we keep that momentum going, we're not going to have a team left by the time the regular season gets here. Of course, I highly doubt that's going to happen, but we need to get it together somehow. We need to figure something out. And as a reminder, only unvaccinated players can be labeled as high risk, close contacts, and sidelined without a positive test. So if you're unvaccinated, but you've been in close contact and they can prove it with somebody who's tested positive for COVID, now you are also on the COVID-19 list. So not everybody, not all 6 of these guys actually have COVID-19. But if you're unvaccinated, and even if you don't test positive, if you are around somebody to a certain extent that did test positive, you are on the COVID-19 list. It's crazy. You don't even have to test positive to end up not being able to play on Sundays. It's contact tracing, man. It's serious. They're not playing. They're trying to nip this in the bud, trying to isolate whoever may or may not have it so that nobody else gets it. Extra precaution. And again, this is scary because we haven't even had a full week of practices, and we're already in a situation where if we had to play a game tomorrow, it would be ugly. No Brandon Scherff, no Curtis Samuel, no Cornelius Lucas, no Matt Ioannidis. That's your starting right guard, potentially a starting right tackle who started at left tackle for you last year. Your potentially second best receiver right now, at least the second most proven, and a lot of the team's favorite defensive lineman. Some people feel like Matt Ioannidis is the best defensive lineman on this team. He is the best pass rushing interior defensive lineman on this team. I'll give him that. But still, these are like really notable players that are on the COVID-19 list. Again, if we were to have a game tomorrow, those guys would not be able to play. That's what we would be missing. That's why we got to get this under wraps as soon as possible. But Washington seems like they're trying to do everything they can to nip this in the bud just as an organization, because fans were attending all 32 training camps today, and only the Colts, the Patriots, the Saints, and our Washington football team were offering COVID-19 vaccinations on site, which is kind of weird, but I guess they got to do what they got to do. And that's really interesting too, because us in Indianapolis had the lowest vaccination rates as of Friday afternoon. Us and Indy were the only teams that had one under 70%, but there's progress because we were at 60% on Monday and below 50% the week before that. And now, as of Saturday, we are no longer the team with the lowest vaccination rate. We passed Indianapolis with us being somewhere north of 70%, but now Indianapolis also went up to 70%. No team is below 70% anymore. So Ron Rivera said that he thinks that they're getting the message across, and it definitely seems like it, because again, we were less than 50% not even really 2 weeks ago. Now we're above 70%. And Ron Rivera even said that some players asked about getting vaccinated, and Ron Rivera and company actually set up appointments for a lot of them to get vaccinated on Sunday. So we'll see if they actually follow through and get vaccinated. Again, I have no opinions on the matter. It's just the facts. We'll see if they get vaccinated. If they don't, they don't. If they do, they do. But it's interesting to know that we went from below 50% to above 70% so fast, and then more players are possibly getting vaccinated as of Sunday, tomorrow. I know the NFL is applying a lot of pressure to these teams to get their teams to the 85% vaccination threshold. That's where the NFL wants everybody, so that the league can be 85% vaccinated and they'll move on from there. That's reportedly the goal of the NFL, and that's the goal for each team, 85%. That's the special number. We went from below 50 to above 70 in 2 weeks, so at that rate, we should probably reach 85% maybe before we even start practicing in Ashburn, but we'll see. Moving on, is the Washington football team slowly becoming the Washington Dolphins? Because you already know we brought back Ereck Flowers, who was originally with us, went to the Dolphins for a year, came back to play for us, and the Dolphins are paying him more money than we are, which is like a big finesse move. Straight jug. But then, of course, our projected starting quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, also played for the Dolphins last year, started quite a few games. And then potentially our starting free safety, Bobby McCain, also just came from the Dolphins, played there for a few years in the slot and as a rangy free safety. And what's even cooler about Ryan Fitzpatrick and Bobby McCain is that they were team captains on their previous teams. I don't think there's enough room for Bobby McCain to become a team captain. I'm assuming Ryan Fitzpatrick, with him being the projected starting quarterback, he's gonna automatically get it. And not even just because of his title of being a quarterback, like he actually is a really good leader. Guys love him, so I'm expecting him to have it. But I don't think Bobby McCain is about to come up here and take a captain away from one of these other guys that were already captain last year. But that's dope to not only have so many leaders on the teams, but guys that have like literally held leadership roles, have actually been team captains on teams before. And then next up, earlier today, with Brandon Scherff and David Sharp basically off of the 90-man roster officially because they're on the COVID-19 list, is a completely different roster, they brought in guard Ross Reynolds from Miami. So just another body. I mean, granted, I'm not expecting him to come in and immediately compete for the starting role. It's between Ereck Flowers, Wes Schweitzer, and Sadiq Charles. And honestly, Ereck Flowers and Wes Schweitzer are like really the ones for real competing for that starting left guard spot. Sadiq Charles is kind of on the outside looking in. And then you still have like Wes Martin, but I'm not even entirely too sure if he's going to make it, because Ross Reynolds, with this Washington Dolphins movement, he may be safer than Wes Martin, because you already know the organization loves Tyler Larsen with his ability to play both center and guard. And as of right now, he's still better than Keith Ishmael. Even though I did like Keith Ishmael coming out of the draft, as of right now, Tyler Larsen's safer than a Keith Ishmael. And again, he could play both center and guard. So it's just really tough for these guards out here. So a guy like Wes Martin better be on his P's and Q's, because even though Brandon Scherff is out on the COVID-19 list, Ross Reynolds was brought in to potentially take your spot. Moving on, Jonathan Allen's contract. The official cap numbers have come out for his contract per year. He is a $7.142 million cap hit this year, a $9.5 million cap hit next year, a $21.5 million cap hit in 2023, again a $21.5 million cap hit in 2024, and then a $23 million cap hit in 2025. The cap space is just going to keep going up, and after the new CBA deal, it's going to skyrocket. So those numbers sound a little intimidating now, and they sound like a lot now, but by the time we get to 2023, when he's a $21.5 million cap hit, that's probably going to be a team-friendly contract by then with the way the cap space is going to go up. You may have defensive linemen out here making $30 million a year by then. Somebody always resets the market every year, just keeps going up and up, and again with the new CBA deal, the cap space is just going to skyrocket. It's not going to be a steady increase like it's been every year other than COVID taking it down. It's going to be a huge bump up out of nowhere. Also, to break down his specifics, he has $35.6 million guaranteed, and the team can move on from him 2023, right when that money starts to get really high. If they want to, they could just cut him and save $3 million. So it's a backloaded contract to where a lot of his money, especially the cap hit wise, is all on the back end, and we can escape it. Remember 2023 when it jumps from $9.5 million in 2022 to in the 20s in 2023. If we don't want to take on that cap, even though I think by then, like I said, I don't think it's going to be that much in comparison to other interior defensive linemen when the cap space goes up. But again, if we want to, we have a break glass in case of emergency. We can escape his contract in 2023 and not deal with all of those cap casualties and save $3.5 million by then. It's crazy. His contract is perfect for us. It's great for him. It gives him incentive to ball out for years to come so he can get that big money. But us as a team, if we want to escape it before his cap hits become more than $10 million per year, all the way up to the 20s, we can dip up out of there. Moving on, and the last topic, man, Landon Collins is out here balling so far. It's early. It's only been 1 week, technically less than a week, but he is out here kind of looking like his all-pro self, not gonna lie. I mean, the way he got hurt last year with his Achilles injury, we didn't even think he would be ready to play week 1 of the regular season. Now he's at the beginning of training camp a full go. Like next week when we're in full pads and full contact, Landon Collins will still be a full go. There's no, easing them in, doing drills on the side. No, he's out there with Chase Young and Jamin Davis and all of those guys. And from what I'm hearing from several people that have been going to the camps, Landon Collins is out there looking like one of the better safeties in the league, which is like about time. Since he's been here with us, he's had ups and downs, but even like his ups never looked like one of the better safeties in the league. Not like how he looked for the Giants his one all-pro year. And then he has the nerve to be the second highest paid DB this year. If you're looking at what all defensive backs in the NFL are making in 2021, he is the second highest paid DB in the NFL. And I'm gonna need him to go out there and ball like it. If he can play up to what he's earning, if he can play up to his contract, we are literally the best defense in the NFL. Not necessarily saying the way he's been has necessarily been holding us back, but an all-pro Landon Collins literally takes our defense to the best in the NFL, no questions asked. I'm not entirely too sure if that's gonna happen. I don't want to bet my life savings on it, but it's very encouraging to see what he's doing in camp. I'm very optimistic. I mean, today he got 2 interceptions alone, just today in practice. One of them, a pass was tipped up, and Landon Collins dove and scooped it up right before it hit the turf. I mean, it was like a super athletic play. Super heads up play too to make that play happen. And then on another play, he perfectly read and jumped on a ball to Logan Thomas and intercepted it. So there was one where it was just kind of like tip drill and he made a very heads up play to go get it. But the one against Logan Thomas, that was just him balling out. Just straight lock up, no fly zone type of stuff. And that's his biggest weakness, coverage. That's one of the main reasons a lot of us are like, man, why is he still on the team? You know what I'm saying? If he can cover better, if he can get back to that Giants all-pro version of himself, and it looks like we're starting to see sprinkles of that right now. Like this first week of training camp, he probably looks better than he's ever looked since he's come here, which is very encouraging. If we can get that out of him, it's over with. But there was a play where Ryan Fitzpatrick and Logan Thomas got the better of him. Granted, it was great coverage from Landon Collins. Again, not something we said very often since we've signed him here. It was just a better throw, better catch. And that's just what's going to happen. Just like how Ryan Fitzpatrick and Terry McLaurin are eating against William Jackson. The way the rules are set up, defensive backs literally have it the worst in the NFL. The rules are literally set up for a good quarterback and a good receiver to always beat a good corner. That's just how it's always going to go. Good offense beats good defense every time. So I'm not going to fault him for losing that one play against Logan Thomas and Ryan Fitzpatrick because the coverage was great, just a better play on offense. And I'm gonna definitely break down how this chemistry between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Logan Thomas is taking off and how much that's gonna help us win some games this year. But that's the end of this video. I'm gonna talk about that in my Richmond training camp review. May come out with that tomorrow, along with my, of course, every Sunday live stream. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. I know you learned something, you had to have. So you're legally binded to having to leave a like before you dip up out of this video. Appreciate it. Also, big shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel. Y'all are a big reason why I was able to get this upgraded equipment. I'm gonna keep upgrading everything non-stop. Y'all donations, all of y'all channel members, they're going to a good cause. Not like I'm just taking y'all money and buying chips with it. I'm investing right back into the quality of the streams and the videos. So again, I really appreciate y'all. Big shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate all y'all, man. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.